hear the sound of the breeze carrying us away. Dust in the rear view, free as a bird. This is our time, no matter what they say. Every mile behind only brought us here. Now the road is clear. Shotgun ride on my Friday night. Sunset fire burning in our eyes. Let's leave the past in the past and deal with it another day. All we got is this open road. No plans, just a cranked up radio. Ain't promising forever, ain't no end in sight. Girl, I'm loving the ride. You know I'm loving the ride. Oh yeah, loving the ride.
Hey guys, welcome back to Minor Details, the podcast where no detail is too minor and the real life moments matter most. I'm your host, Jess Minor, and I am so happy you're here today. Now, today's episode is one that has been sitting on my heart for a while because the older I get, the more I realize that a lot of us have very different definitions of what loyalty actually means. We're going to be talking about loyalty, what it really means, how it often gets confused with obligation, and specifically how this can show up in female friendships. Because if we're being real, friendship as women can be incredibly beautiful, healing, and life giving, but it can also be very complicated. So let's get into it. I think when most people hear the word loyalty, they immediately think of someone who sticks by you no matter what. Someone who always has your back. Someone who rides for you. And while I do think loyalty absolutely includes support and standing by the people you love, I think somewhere along the way, we've started confusing loyalty with blind allegiance. We've started believing that being loyal means agreeing with everything someone does, never questioning them, never setting boundaries, and always choosing them, even at the expense of ourselves. And I just don't think that's true. I think real loyalty is so much deeper than that. Real loyalty isn't, I'll support everything you do no matter what. Real loyalty is, I care about you enough to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Because sometimes the most loving thing we can do for the people in our lives is be honest with them. If my friend is making choices that are hurting herself or hurting other people, I don't think being loyal means pretending not to see it. I think loyalty means approaching that person with love, compassion, and honesty. And honestly, that is hard because hard conversations are uncomfortable. And many of us avoid them because we're afraid of conflict. We're afraid of hurting people's feelings. We're afraid they'll think we're judging them. Or maybe we're afraid of losing the friendship altogether. And I am 100% guilty of this as well. And especially as women, I think we've been often taught to keep the peace, avoid conflict, and make everyone happy. But healthy friendships aren't built on avoiding discomfort. They are built on trust. And trust means knowing that someone can tell you the truth because they love you, not because they're against you. And something else I've been thinking about lately is how often boundaries are mistaken for betrayal. That one is huge. Sometimes someone sets a boundary and suddenly they're labeled as selfish, distant, or disloyal. Maybe they say no. Maybe they don't participate in gossip anymore. Maybe they choose to protect their peace. Maybe they've outgrown certain dynamics. Maybe they simply need space. And somehow those things can be interpreted as rejection. But boundaries are not betrayal. I'll say that again for the people in the back. Boundaries are not betrayal. In fact, boundaries are often what allow friendships and relationships to remain healthy. Because when we constantly abandon ourselves to make other people comfortable, resentment will eventually grow. And resentment is one of the fastest ways to destroy a friendship. I've also noticed that in female friendships specifically, loyalty can sometimes become tangled up in expectations. Things like, if you're my friend, you'll automatically take my side. If you're my friend, you'll dislike the people I dislike. If you're my friend, you'll always agree with me. If you're my friend, you'll prove your loyalty by choosing me over everyone else. And while I understand wanting support from our friends, I think we have to be careful not to turn friendship into a test. Because healthy friendship shouldn't constantly require proof. It should not feel transactional. It shouldn't feel like we're keeping score. Real friendship leaves room for individuality. It leaves room for growth. It leaves room for disagreement. And honestly, one of the biggest signs of maturity in friendship is being able to disagree with someone and still love and respect them. I think one of the truest forms of loyalty is protecting someone's name when they're not in the room. It's celebrating their wins, it's praying for them, it's checking in on them, it's showing up when life gets hard. It's being able to say, hey, I don't necessarily agree with this decision, but I still love you and I'm here. That's loyalty. Not gossiping, not competing, not secretly hoping they fail, not tearing them down behind closed doors. Loyal people don't just support you publicly, they protect you privately. I think a big eye opener for me when it comes to understanding true loyalty in friendship has been realizing that loyalty isn't just about how people treat you when you're standing right in front of them. It's about what they say about you when you're not in the room. Because if we're being honest, it's pretty easy to tell people what they want to hear face to face. It's easy to be kind when someone is standing right in front of you, but true loyalty shows up when that person isn't there to defend themselves. Are you speaking positively about them? Are you shutting down the gossip? Are you willing to stand up for them when they're not around? I've had multiple experiences with this throughout my life, but one in particular that happened recently really inspired this specific episode. I had a difficult experience with one person within a larger friend group. And because I chose not to continue that particular friendship, it felt like the rest of the group slowly turned their backs on me as well. What was especially hurtful was finding out later that things being said directly to my face or things people claimed they had said to defend me were completely different from what was actually being said when I wasn't around. Stories changed, conversations changed, and that was really eye opening for me. And I want to be clear the issue was never that these people chose to remain friends with someone that I no longer wanted a relationship with. I would never ask someone to choose between me and another person. I don't believe healthy friendship should work that way. And living in a small town, it's just an unrealistic expectation. The issue wasn't that they maintained that friendship. The issue was that their actions showed me where their loyalty truly was. Because loyalty isn't about choosing sides in a friendship breakup. Loyalty is about integrity. It's about being truthful. It's about not participating in gossip. It's about being willing to say, hey, I don't think that's fair, or I don't think we should be talking about her like this. You don't have to stop being friends with someone else in order to be loyal to me. And if you're willing to stay silent while people tear me down, spread misinformation, or create narratives that aren't true, that tells me everything I need to know. That experience really opened my eyes to the type of friendships I want in my life moving forward. I want friendships built on honesty, integrity, and mutual respect. Friendships where I know that the person sitting across from me is the same person whether I'm in the room or not. And something else that I think is important to mention is that when all of this happened, I didn't make a big public announcement about it. I didn't go around telling everyone how I felt, and I didn't feel the need to explain my side of the story to every single person. Honestly, I just quietly stepped back and let things be what they were. But the reason this topic has come back around, for me, is because my own loyalty has been questioned because of friendships and relationships that I've chosen to build outside of that group. And that has been difficult for me because I don't think it's fair to question someone's loyalty simply because they're creating new connections or experiencing life outside of a particular friendship. And if we're being completely honest, my understanding of loyalty changed because of the experiences I had within those friendships. And while I'm not trying to play the, well, they did this first game or keep score, I do think it's important to acknowledge that loyalty goes both ways. For me, loyalty does not mean blind obligation. It doesn't mean I have to limit my experiences, avoid certain people, or stop myself from forming meaningful relationships because someone else expects it of me. Healthy friendships should never require us to shrink ourselves or put our lives on hold in order to prove our loyalty. I can care about people, wish them well, and still choose to move forward in ways that are healthy for me. Because choosing growth, peace, and new relationships isn't disloyal. It's simply part of life. Because loyalty should be rooted in love, honesty, and mutual respect, not obligation, guilt, or fear. I think another difficult reality is that sometimes friendships change. Sometimes people grow in different directions. Sometimes seasons shift. Sometimes relationships that once felt incredibly close no longer fit who either person is becoming. And that doesn't automatically mean someone was disloyal. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. Some friendships are seasonal. Some friendships teach us lessons. Some friendships help us survive difficult chapters. And some friendships are lifelong gifts. But I don't think we should measure someone's loyalty solely by how long they stay. I think we should also look at how they loved us while they were there. As I've gotten older, my circle has become so much smaller, but my friendships have become deeper. I no longer look for people who simply agree with me. I look for people who tell me the truth, people who celebrate me, people who respect my boundaries, people who can communicate through conflict instead of avoiding it, people who choose honesty over performance. Those are the friendships I want to invest in. So if you're listening today, maybe ask yourself, what does loyalty mean to me? Am I expecting blind loyalty from the people I love? Am I allowing space for honesty and boundaries in my friendships? Am I the kind of friend that I hope to have? Because loyalty isn't about never disagreeing. It's not about never changing. And it's definitely not about sacrificing yourself to keep everyone else comfortable. Real loyalty is rooted in love, honesty, respect, and grace. And those are the kinds of friendships worth fighting for. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for another episode of Minor Details. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love for you to share this episode with a friend, post it on your social media, or leave a review. It truly helps this little podcast grow. Until next time, remember that no detail is too minor and the real life moments matter most. Bye.